I have decided to do a mid-month update to my project pan. I was struggling with my base products. I will show you clips. I sort of documented a small journey on TikTok, but all month I've been struggling with my base products, and I decided to try to figure out which base product was doing me dirty, and I believe it was both. So I will show you that footage, but I just thought I'd tell you that I am going to be introducing instead these two products. So the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation and the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. They're working a lot better. I'm having a much better time with them. I wore them all day yesterday, wore really nicely. I even went to the beach. It looked lovely. So I don't want to struggle with products that I don't like. Now, when it comes to Project Pan products, I don't recommend personally struggling with products you don't like. Normally what I do leading up to a project pan or leading up to introducing a new product is I'll test it for a few weeks, and if I really don't like it, I'll declutter it, get rid of it, and I will roll in a product that I do like, or at least like enough to use. Now the problem was that I pretty much finished my Project Pan 2023 literally the same day as like starting my 2024 one. So there wasn't enough time to do some tests. I was using my concealer right up until like the day I filmed my intro, so I didn't have a chance to really test the base products. But in my Project Pan intro, you saw that I switched out my highlighter, and I do not regret that decision. The highlighter I put in, I really enjoy. So this is just going to be a thing that keeps happening this year. For these products that I don't like and I struggle with, they're going. It's not worth keeping. So this is why I'm getting rid of my base products. All right, I'm doing a bit of a wear test, and I'm comparing some Project Pan products. So I have mentioned that I don't think one of my base products is working super well, and I'm trying to figure out which one. So in my Project Pan, I originally decided to mix my CoverGirl Outlast foundation with my Marc Jacobs Extra Shot foundation concealer, because this is a bit dark, this is a bit light, but there's something not wearing very well. So I'm doing a comparison. On this side of the face, I have my Marc Jacobs one with a lot of highlighter. So Marc Jacobs on that side, and then what I've done is I've taken the CoverGirl one, I've mixed it with a lightening product from Mecca Max, and I've got it on this side of the face. So I'm going to check in throughout the day and see which one is wearing better. At this point, let's see if we can see many differences. I think that's just how the light's catching that one. It's the angle that I'm at. This looks a little bit more glowy, but it's not. They're all sort of sitting quite nicely. Nothing to note. It's been on for a good hour and a half. But I'll check back throughout the day. Essentially the issue that I've been having is that they look fine at the start, but then as the day sort of progresses, one of them starts to look a bit patchy and wears off unevenly. So we're going to isolate that culprit. And this is the Nabla highlighter. Everything here is Project Pan. It's all looking nice. And the sweaty top lip is me running a bunch of errands before work. Okay, I've had a day. I've been up since about 4:30. My makeup has been on for over 12 hours. I'm tired. My kid has an infection. He got like stung or bitten on the nose, and he's got like swollen and whatever. It's a thing. Anyway, this is not good. So today I'm testing out two products from my Project Pan, the Marc Jacobs concealer foundation thing and the CoverGirl, and something is breaking me out. These are breakouts under my foundation. These are breakouts. That one's even got like a little whitehead. That is not normal. That is not normal. And that has a little bit, but not as much. I'm wondering if it's a sunscreen I'm wearing that's doing that, but I feel like it's happening a lot more on this side. And I also threw out my last CoverGirl foundation, which was an older one, granted, for creating these little dots. But this is not looking any better. And look how it's worn down. And of course, okay, it's a hot day. I've been busy and it's 12 hours wear, but this is not wearing well, especially for a Marc Jacobs sort of product. Thanks to my sheet mask Project Pan of 2024, where I'm trying to use up 105 sheet masks. My new mantra is, crappy skin day, chuck a sheet mask on it. This one smells a bit funky actually, but there you go.
Good morning. So my skin is doing a lot better than yesterday. So I tested a couple foundations and I was getting these little like breakouts, and here it had like a little whitehead. There was some that were like little pussy up here. I put on a sheet mask. It wasn't like a breakout one, it was just this one, red ginseng essence mask sheet from Esfolio, whatever that is, I don't know. But it seemed to calm it down and things are looking a lot better. Now, my way of testing if it is the foundation that caused it or the sunscreen I was using is I'm going to stop using the foundations for a few days. I'm going to use the sunscreen, which is the Naked Sundays one. This one is very thick, but I've used it half a dozen times before and it hasn't been a problem. Normally you use 2 fingers worth of sunscreen. This is so thick, I don't think you need to do that because it literally, look how thick it is. Like it's like, yeah, and that's where I think, is it the sunscreen? Because it is a thicker sunscreen. But I'm going to test it out today. So I'm going to apply this. I'm going to use this with another base that is, look, it is very thick. But it does feel nice. This is more, look, thicker you think it's good for summer, which is what we're at the moment. But for me and my sort of skin, I think this sort of thicker would work better in winter where my skin is sort of more dehydrated. But I just want to isolate the issue before I repeat it. So it is a little bit dewy. I wouldn't call this one necessarily greasy. It does feel thicker and like you've got some thick, I don't know, whether it's moisturizer or something on your face. I'm going to put some here as well. But it sits nicely under makeup for me, even with my oily T-zone. If you've got really oily skin, I'd probably avoid it. But if you have dry skin, this would be like a best friend. I find that physical sunscreens, so that have a lot of like zinc in them, tend to cause breakouts, but not like this. They tend to cause bigger ones that take days to get rid of. They're like bigger welts, and I get them in sort of random spots. Normally with my sort of skin, I'll get hormonal breakouts around my chin during that time of the month, but the rest of the time it's fairly clear. If I get a little thing like this, it's generally a reaction. So I'll test to see how this goes today. I'll see if this flares up again. If it does, I'm going to think it's the sunscreen, and I'm going to go back to testing the foundations without the sunscreen, so with a different sunscreen, so we can really isolate what's going on. But for now, I'm just going to use a BB cream. This is the Misha Perfect Cover BB cream. I'm just doing this because I don't think this causes any issues, and I'm actually running not low on foundations, but if I definitely get rid of the 2 that are in my project pan because they're problematic, I probably only have a few sort of BB cream type products and maybe 4 foundations. Still a lot, like it's still enough to keep me going throughout the whole year, but I am dwindling down my collection just simply from using and deciding if something is right for me anymore. Oh, got a hair in there. That's looking pretty good. It is quite dewy. So I'm going to put a little bit of concealer where I need it, set it down, do the rest of my makeup really quickly. And then I'll check back in either later today or tomorrow and let you know, is it the sunscreen causing issues or is it potentially my Project Pan foundations? I'm hoping it's not this because I quite like this, but we'll see. We'll see. Hello, I am currently sick. Hooray! But you might know or notice that my skin is very clear. So a couple of days ago, I was testing out my Project Pan base products to see which one I had problems with, and I decided I think I have problems with both of them. So I'm not going to keep these in my project anymore. There is no point. But I was worried that it was maybe the sunscreen that was causing breakouts. I've worn this sunscreen the last 3 days and there has been no issues with it. So it's not the sunscreen. My skin is looking clear and great. Despite being sick, my skin is nice and clear and lovely. So definitely not the sunscreen. So I am going to be replacing out my base products for one that I tried yesterday and that doesn't break me out. It is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation in the shade Ivory L2. So I'm going to promptly, I don't know if I mark it or weigh it, but I'm going to start adding that into my project because I don't want to waste time. I will go back and maybe try each of the foundations that I'm taking out once each so I can just make sure, but I have not had a good time with them since introducing them into my project pan, so I just don't see the point of struggling with them when I've got other foundations that are currently going old and can be used up. So that is my plan, that is my update, that is my tweak, and I'm going to be doing this throughout my whole project pan this year. If something is just not working and I've given it a good shot, then I'm going to declutter it. Like, I think it's really worthwhile giving things a good try and trying it with different things and trying different methods, because you can find, like, there's so many times I've used products and I'm like, I don't like them, and then I found a way to make them work and I'm like, actually, I quite like this is pretty cool. So I think it's worthwhile doing that, but I think I've given these enough of a chance this month that I'm just like, look, they're gonna have one more chance each, but this is now subbing in for now. So that's my update with my project pan. One thing I forgot to mention is that because I'm taking out that Marc Jacobs Foundation Concealer 2-in-1 product, I need to add in a concealer. So I'm adding in my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is in the shade Light, I believe, 15 Light. This is a concealer that I really like. This one has just been opened. It is more, I have backups of this and I'm just getting rid of it because I prefer the Natasha Denona one. But these are the only concealers I have. So this is the only thing I can add in that's not the Natasha Denona one. So yeah, I'll weigh this and add this in as well. Man, I wish I had a clean sponge. Fingers? No. I used to always do my makeup with fingers and now I'm just like, it's too slippery and slidey.